Welcome back, guys, and we have a ton of problems. So if I can check out this power grid over here, currently we're operating with a lot less maximum capacity. I went through and I started doing a bunch of like background work and some things, and I organized a lot of our storage solutions with our resource sinks, and basically that caused us to overload the power grid, and it actually killed the power grid. I had to cut off our oil production just simply because we are not producing enough. So there's a lot of stuff that we need to get into today. I've really been pushing the idea of getting into our fuel generations with our expanded power infrastructure. You can kind of see some of the stuff that we're working on. I really want to get the fuel generators, but there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. I did take the time to handcraft all the stuff that I actually need for our milestone, but the problem is, okay, we're going to go in our office, so we got to listen to that. So our problem is that this is not our office. The problem is that a lot of the stuff is really expensive, and even if we get all of the computer parts and everything that we need to get the milestone, we still need computers to make our fuel generators. And we're not just making one generator, we're making 10, 20, 30, depending on how much coal production oil production that we have. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and it's really just not something that is feasible right now. So there's a lot of stuff to get done beforehand. What we're going to do today is we're going to be using our alternative recipe for our foundry to revamp our steel production and get that more efficient. And then we're going to work on this lift here, which you kind of already saw. Shut up. So we're going to work on this lift here, and basically the plan is to make another smaller factory down here. Don't worry about that. Another smaller factory down here that will basically house our motors and stuff that's being moved over here. I've already kind of put some of the stuff through the lift. You can see our rotors coming along. This is just a temporary thing to see if it would all work out. We're basically going to pull everything down here, and then we're going to start our production with our first set of manufacturers making our heavy modular frames. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen today. We're probably going to end up having to do is just setting up a manufacturer that'll hand load the resources into it to make the computers, just so we get enough going for the start here. There's a lot of stuff that we need. We need plastic, motors. Oh, no, that's for the manufacturer. There's a lot of stuff that we need to make those fuel generators, and we need to figure out how to automate them without actually being able to automate them. There's several different avenues that I can go down. I can basically go get a bunch more power and try to build everything, but I know this is super long-winded. There's a ton of problems going on. We're going to get into the episode. I'm not going to bore you guys with all this stuff. We're going to start working on this lift right away, and then we'll get into all the other stuff later. Okay, getting straight to the point, we went down here, we built a little bit of a platform. It's going to be a lot bigger than this, and it's going to be actually more enclosed than what it is right now, so there's a lot of stuff that's going to go into it. Basically, we're going to have to revamp all that stuff down there, and if I want to actually set up the manufacturer to make the heavy modular frames, I'm going to need the encased steel beams that are over there as well, and that's what kind of revamping all the steel production kind of goes into everything. It's all going to tie in together. Just watch the video, enjoy it. If you guys are enjoying the series, make sure you like, comment down below, subscribe to follow everything. Do this stuff. You've heard it a million times. We're going to get back to work though, and I'll show you guys an update in just a minute. Alright, so the problem's coming along. I did have to make this like really big, and I probably overdid it for what we're actually putting in here. But what I'm really worried about running into is the actual size of the manufacturers. I know I had it at like 4 tall in one of my last factories, and I don't think it was tall enough, so I went up to 5. I'm gonna build a manufacturer down there real quick and just make sure that everything's gonna fit in there good before I start putting the roof on and all that stuff. The plan is to though kind of cover this up a little bit, but a lot of it's gonna be a glass ceiling, so you actually be able to see down into the factory as opposed to just having like kind of blocking all the stuff that we can see here. So I'm gonna go grab a manufacturer, or at least the stuff to build it, and I'm gonna place it down there. I'm gonna see how it looks with the roof, and then I'll give you guys an update. Alright, so let's go ahead and place our manufacturer in here real quick and see how it's going to look. Oh, that thing is huge. Alright, so we got that laid down. I'm thinking that it's going to be okay. Well, yeah, climb up here and double check it. Is there a ladder on this thing? Could be, yep, here we go. At the very top of this, yeah, okay, so technically 4 would probably work with the soft clearance now, but 5 is going to be perfect for everything that we have going on in here. So now that I know I got the height good, I can finish out the rest of these walls. I'll lay down the roof, and I'll kind of show you guys the design that I'm going for, and then we just finish out the lift and then organize all of our stuff. So we look at the actual recipe for this heavy modular frame. All that stuff that we really need is screws, which we know that we have, and we definitely can produce if we need more. We have plenty of iron output at our factory. The encased industrial beams are already coming from the other side. The steel pipes can come over from the other side once we get the actual production set up for it. And then the modular frames we have already right here with the lift. So all that stuff can be combined down here, as well as a little section over here combined to use our rotors and our stators. So we just have to finish off this lift, finish our walls, finish the ceiling, put in all the windows, and then go over there, fix the steel production, and then weld all that together somehow to combine to make heavy modular frames. So this is the reason that phase 3 is such a huge problem for people, because now you're taking 4 items. If you don't have it already like automated really well, it can become a huge mess, especially for the simple fact that we're combining steel parts with basically iron parts, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. So getting it all of here is very confusing, so I'm going to do my best not to overlap on some of the stuff that's going on, and I can kind of show you guys the general idea on how we're handling stuff, so hopefully we can help you out with your factory. If you watched the last video, I talked a little bit about my plans to release a video talking about planning out phase 3 and what you can do to make sure that you're successful in getting through that as efficiently as possible, not creating too much of a mistake, because once you get too far into it and the mess is there, it's a lot to fix. So I will be posting a video about that soon. I'm just working out all the odds and ends of it. All that being said, though, I'm going to get back to work, and I'll just tell you guys what's going on in a second. Before I get too far, I did want to show you guys that I am making the bottom section here concrete. You can kind of see a little bit of it there. So all this will be concrete, so hopefully it'll look a little bit more pretty than what the last stuff has been looking like. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. That's good. All right. So I still need some more concrete to kind of finish that one off, but I went around and I did the little glass ceiling. I raised it up with the diagonal, like the tilted wall floors. I probably could have used the roofs, but the problem I was having is I don't really have this wall piece as a ceiling, so I would have to pretty much change it. It would have to be concrete. It couldn't be glass. I might go through and I might make all these roof pieces to make them glass to see how it would look, but overall I think it looks fine. It's just a matter of actually being able to see through it. A lot of the glass in this game is really kind of opaque, and it's really can't see through it outside, like a little bit of orange, so it doesn't look the best, but I think it gives it a little extra pop. So I'm going to go down there and I'm going to see what it looks like from the inside, and I think it's going to look a lot better than what this looks like. Yeah, the fog's kind of messing with it a little bit, but from inside, I think this looks really, really good. I need to finish off this wall and kind of box this in a little bit more. I got some rocks coming through the walls, but it'll be okay. I really, really like this a lot. I need to fix the direction of these. They're going the wrong way. So I'll fix those, and I'll make everything nice and pretty, but I really, really like this, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm going to get back to work finishing off this wall, and then I need to work on actually getting this stuff in here. There's a lot of logistics that I have to do to kind of make all this work, but I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to keep working on stuff, and I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so our lift here is mostly done. I put all the steel wire or frames around it. I put in all the elevators and everything, and if you can kind of see a little bit, we did something really special. I put the hypertube to actually run through all this. So this side is going to be our input side, so this will be all the stuff coming into the factory, such as our rotors, our screws, and our modular frames. Then this is the output side. If I have more inputs that I need, I can always switch these around, just how it's set up now. So we'll actually be able to see all the stuff come in. So I put a little conveyor belt like this. You can see all the stuff coming down in the factory. I think that looks absolutely awesome. Let's get rid of this before I cause too much of a problem for myself. And then if we ride this, you're able to see kind of all the lifts and everything. It'll be really, really cool once you get some actual resources and stuff going up and down and kind of making everything look nice and pretty. I did fix our ceiling, so all this stuff's going the right way, and I painted those last 2 parts. But with all that being said, now the room is done. Now it's just a matter of putting everything in it, which is really just the hard part. This is actually pretty easy to build. It's just a matter of kind of sitting here and messing with some things. I love how it turned out, but now we have to figure out how to actually get all the stuff into the room. So I am going to start over here with probably the stators and all the stuff that needs to get moved over here. I'm going to start figuring out how to pipe all this stuff in here. I did not leave myself a whole lot of room for organization, so I'm going to do my best, but we're going to see what I can come up with, and I will be back in just a little bit. So I did get a little bit kind of more creative with messing with stuff. I put all this into concrete, and I kind of filled all this in. So I think that looks a lot better. I do need to finish out the roof a little bit and make this a little bit more organized like the top. But overall, I think this looks a lot better than what it was. I may add some like water pipes and stuff around here. Like if I did something, I don't know, do I have wall pipes? Yeah, I don't have the actual thing for it, but I might buy the cutout that allows you to put like pipes in the wall. Then I could just do something like simple as that to kind of break up the monotony of that and look like there's more going on than what there actually is. But overall, that's a lot better than it was. I'm going to leave it like that for now. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know down in the comments below. But I'm going to get back to work. So I'm in the process of kind of hooking everything up. But since I just let this run with only stators for so long, this is completely full of them. And I have to take all of them out of this one as well as this over here. And I have to figure out how to load balance it to where that this is going to be equal. Because in my mind, I don't think it's going to work out how I want it to work out. So I think I'm going to try a couple things and hopefully it goes good. But I haven't had a whole lot of experience with trucks, so I'm hoping that I got this figured out correctly. But I'm going to have to miss a little bit. Right now, I'm just having to dump literally all of these. And I don't even have a thing big enough, so I'm going to make another one of these. I'll be back. So I'm trying to tie in the encased steel beams. I don't think this is industrial beams, whatever. I'm calling them steel beams. So I'm trying to tie this into this line, but basically I have a bit of a problem because I need to figure out how to get it into all three of these. So there's the storage. The actual conveyor line to get into the truck stop is right here, and then the dumper, not the dumper, the sink line is right here. So I'm trying to figure out this puzzle and how I want to do this, and it's really confusing me. Okay, so what I decided on was I just moved this spark splitter over to line up with the hole, and then instead of putting 3 outputs right here, I'm going to move this out of the way because this is clipping anyway and I don't like it. But the problem that I'm having now is that I have to get rid of this, and this is basically just like a block of cement. Like, it's literally just a block of cement, and to get rid of all this stuff is pretty hard. This hole, however, this one right here, the encased steel beams, is lining up with this one perfectly. So instead, I'm trying to get this empty and then move this all into this one. And that way, then the encased steel beams go in this one, and this one should be lined up with this hole, which means all I have to do from there is put in the, sorry, my brain's blinking, put in the merger and the overflow lines, go back outside. Well, actually, I have the overflow line. I just have to put in the lines to go to there, and then the overflow lines to storage. So there's like 3 more things to put in, and then I got to figure out the lines here, and then all this should be actually running to our truck depot, which should be going over into our factory and starting to actually automate our rotors for the first time. And then from there, I just figured out how to get all of the supplies for the heavy modular frames. Wow, that looks really cool. I actually haven't seen this from this angle. This looks really cool. The factory is coming together. Anyway, so as I was saying, I just had to get all this stuff up there for the manufacturer, and then I can move on to our next step, which is actually going to be fixing the steel plant, which I'm really not looking forward to. My steel videos don't do good for one, and also I just really hate messing with steel. Okay, so I went ahead and redid this. Now we have our smart splitter set up here, and basically you have your overflow into your storage. I think that's going to be right. I think that's what I want to do. That way it's getting a constant supply over here as opposed to constantly supplying our storage, which I'm not really worried about. So our overflows are going into there, and then we have our actual overflows in this room for dumping. So once that's completely full, both the truck depot and our storage, then it'll start to get rid of it over here. So that was a whole lot of sink talk and drain and everything, but it's all gonna work. This is right. I hope it's right. I'm gonna get back to work now that I have all this stuff set up. I just had to figure out how to get an equal amount into there, and then organize the load, and then everything should be fine. I just gotta double check. Why can't I get closer to this? The tractor's here, but the tractor's not here. The tractor's over there. I don't know what's up with that. So why is the encased steel beams not coming through? That would be why. Look at us solving problems on the fly. Now everything should be going in here. Everything will be set up right, and then hopefully, if everything's good, I won't have to talk about this anymore. And I just got over here and realized that we had to dump all this as well. So I'm gonna get to getting rid of all this, and then hopefully this should work in just a second. And so it's currently storming right now. My entire house is shaking because the thunder. So I'm really hoping that I don't lose power and lose this recording. But everything is going good. I just had to hook up this right here. It's our last part to it. So now we officially have our rotors being automated over here. And we have our stators being automated in as well. It's just a matter of making sure that this is going to be able to keep up with everything. So we have our encased steel beams. Looks like that's coming down the line good. We have all of our stators as well. So this, I'll have to double check, but this should come right up this line, as long as the stators are okay. Well, the stators are fine, as long as the encased steel beams are fine. I'm just gonna watch this for a second. I also realized that you can actually just dink off of these. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's a really cool sound. So we have everything up here. It's just a matter of actually seeing what the throughput is going to be for what's coming out of here. It looks like it's a lot of stators. I don't know why there's so many. So I'm gonna have to check up on that and make sure everything's going good. I'll be right back. So it looks like it's because these are currently turned down to match what our steel production is, and even with our steel production the way that is, it's still not managed to keep up. So The problem is not with any of this, it's just with this, which I can live with that because I'm going to fix this problem anyway. So now that I have that set up, before we actually move into the manufacturing part of it, I'm going to fix this steel thing because I'm already over here anyway. So basically what's going to happen is I'm using this recipe for the foundry. Where'd all my stuff go? Okay, I'm going to have to come back to this in just a second. Sorry about that. In the process of moving all those stators and getting everything around, I left my inventory back over there. But basically, in the foundry, we have an alternative recipe now that is making this alternative solid steel ingot. Basically, all it's using is 20 iron ingots, which is a 1-for-1, and then you have 20 or 2 coal. So, sorry, my brain's getting all confused. So it's 40 per minute on the iron ingot, which is a 1-for-1, and then 40 for the coal, making 60. The regular recipe that you're using now is an actual 1-for-1, so it's taking, well, technically 2-for-1. It's taking 45 and 45 to make 45. This is using 40 and 40 to make 60, so you're actually getting more steel out of it just by refining all of the iron ingots as well. So basically what I have to do is I'm going to take our iron input that we have now and pretty much smelt it all down. I'm not going to use that recipe, don't worry about that. Basically, I'm going to take all the iron that we're already putting into it, the unsmelted ore, and smelting it, and then it should be able to use, basically produce more steel off of smelting ahead of time, which means I cannot remember how much this line is. I think it's set up for about 240 right now. If I can go up here and check real fast and see exactly what it's going to be, and get some numbers on everything. Also, the 60 works out way better than the 45, so this will be super easy to set up. So this is producing 270, which means I'm going to need to produce, or I'm going to need 9 smelters. So I'm going to need to set up 9 of these smelters to smelt all this iron somewhere here. I'll probably build another platform right here and then reorganize all this. So I got to fit 9 smelters in, and that's going to make, if I can do some math real quick, let me get out a calculator. So 270 times 66. So hold on, let me do 270 divided by 40, which is 6.75, and I can actually dumb that number down. So if I want to do 240, which I'll probably do, divide that into 40, which is going to be 6. So 6 of those producing 60 is going to make me 360 steel a minute. So this is basically going to double, or not double, it's going to add us a lot more steel that we can work with, and we'll get a lot easier number. I just have to put in all this stuff to smelt it. So I'm going to get working on placing all these smelters and doing all the load forming and all the stuff that needs to happen. And then I'll show you guys what I come up with in just a second. Okay, I know I was just talking about working on the steel factory, but basically I ran back here to grab some more resources that I needed. I ran out of iron plates, but I was looking at this. This is a problem because here you can see the stators, and this is being basically stopped by these encased steel beams and aren't going anywhere. So I'm gonna have to redo this. I'm gonna have to add something over here that'll basically sort all this stuff out, as opposed to trying to use it as one line and then split in here. Because if one machine gets backed up and can't make any more, it's gonna shut the other machine down. So I can't have that. It's basically gonna stop 2 whole factories trying to work together to make a part, and it's just, this isn't gonna work. So I'm gonna have to come back and fix this later. But this video is already getting long enough as it is, so I'm gonna fix this later on. I just gotta go grab my iron plates and get back to work on the steel stuff. Okay, so now that I got my iron plates, I got everything hooked up over here. This is making all of our iron ingots. This is basically 4, and then 4 more here, so it's 120 on this side, 120, and then 120 from each of the coal miners. I could technically overclock one of these to 240 and then split the line, which I might actually do because that sounds like a great idea, which would give us a whole nother set of coal power up there. But I'm not sure if I really want to get into all that right now. That's definitely a project for later on. I just have the ability to do it. This is all set up. The problem that I have now is I have to redo all this output because this is designed for the 45 output, which is not going to work because there's going to be more coming out of here. There's going to be 180 as opposed to the 135 that's coming out, so it's just not going to work out like I want to. I'm going to have to redo all this, pretty much all these structures, everything. So I'm going to get working on that and kind of see what exactly I need to do to make everything work, and I will get back to you guys once I figure all that out. Alright guys, time to give you a quick update on what I've been doing. So I went through and I looked at all this. This is taking 30, which means this is a perfect split for 2. So pretty much all I have doing, or all I have going on here is just one splitter, splitting off the 60 of one foundry into the 2. It's pretty much just like doing a smelter. It's super easy with this new recipe. So that all works. I use 3 of these to basically make the 6 steel pipes that I need. I added the overflow storage container. I need to add another overflow for the actual resource sink once I figure out how to fit that into all this room. There's not a whole lot of room left, and then all that's really left is these over here. So you have 3 more, producing 160, 60 a piece for 3 of them. And if you look at your steel beam recipe, it actually consumes 60. So this is a super easy merge into 3 and then basically split into 3 right away. I just had to get it over to it, and then I can run the 3 constructors. They're going to be more than enough to run the stuff up there. I just have to, I'm probably going to have to overclock it a little bit with the concrete to get it to keep up with what's going on. But I'll have to check that up once I get up there. I just need to get this one out of the way, and then I can place my constructors down and get all this organized. And some of this stuff just needs to get kind of cleaned up a little bit, like this is doing nothing now. So there's a little bit more to do. I'm going to keep working, and I will be giving you an update in just a little bit. All right, so I set up the steel beams, and this worked out really good. I just picked a random place on the wall, and I set down the splitters, the constructors. There's a little bit of clipping going on with the actual wall itself right here, but it's underneath the factory, and you're not really going to see it, so we're just going to pretend like that's our little secret. We have a merger here, and then we have our smart splitter, and it just happened to work out perfectly where this is a right angle, so I don't have to move the storage bin. You know, sometimes life's okay. We hooked up everything. We have a right angle to go up there. All of our steel beams are being made. Everything's connected. This is all going to be running really good down here. So this is all good. All our numbers are perfect. We have to go up there and double check our encased steel beams real fast to make sure that everything's going to work good up there with the concrete, and make sure we're actually getting enough to our dispensers. I think it's not dispensers, our assemblers. I think this is a really weird number. I think it's just actually the steel beams. Yeah, so this is 18. We're producing 45, so 18 to 2, 22.5. That's only because this is turned down. And I think the problem is because this is only producing 15 apiece. Yeah, so this is only producing 45, which is why this is turned down. So there's a problem here. I got to figure out how to get another constructor in here basically, because this is not enough concrete to power this. So I'm going to go mess with those numbers for a little bit and see if I can figure out a good way to make all this work. And just as we learned that sometimes life is okay, we learned that sometimes it's not. I had to expand this out one more foundation in order to fit the extra constructor that we were needing to get up to what we need to produce this. So we need 30 and 30, which is 60. These are producing 15 apiece, so we needed a total of 4 of these, and it averaged out to 180 limestone. So I had to overclock that down there 150%. This is coming in into 2 separate splitters. So this is basically taking 180 down to 90, down to 45. So this is all working at its max capacity, and this should keep up as a 1-for-1, which is good because I don't have any sort of buffer in between what's going on over there and what's going on over here. So I have to watch that and try to keep up with it. This should be producing enough steel beams now to basically run at 100%. Still taking some time to get up here, so I'm going to double check on that real quick and make sure everything's running good down there, because this should be producing enough. It should be producing... Oh no, it's not. It's not, because this is 24, so this is 48. So I still don't have enough steel for this. It's not good. We bumped this down to 5, what happens? I know that I literally like just overclocked this a second ago, but yeah, so that gets it down to 20. So that should be right about 45. And it's a weird number, but we're going to deal with that for now, as opposed to what I'm trying to do. If I'm producing 11 a minute and I'm consuming 10 over there, then it's still 1 per minute, which is basically nothing. But for the meantime, that's enough to give me a slight buffer. I already have a full container, so I'm not really all that worried about making sure that I have enough of this stuff, because I should be good for a little while on just that alone. Now we just need to make sure that this stuff is getting over there. So we have to organize our little bit of everything up there and figure out our split situation to get our manufacturer set up. I know this was already a long video. I'm already like 26 minutes in recording. I'm hoping that I chop out at least like, I don't know, 4 minutes of me rambling about nothing. So hopefully I can get a little bit more organized for us, but I still have a lot to do. A little bit of a longer episode today. I hope you guys can appreciate that a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to work, and I'll give you guys an update once I fix all of my stuff that I already did. Okay, so I just want to show you guys the storage solution that I came up with. Basically, I put 2 of these together, these industrial storage containers, each splitting down into their own thing, So it'll come in and it'll decide which is which, and then if we have any overflow, which let's hope that we don't and everything goes good, but if there is overflow, which there probably will be, just simply based off the static production that we have set up already, it will be dumped off into the sink and it will go away and we won't have to worry about it. So this is all set up now. I believe this should be a good working system. This is not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's going to do for now, and if I can come with a better solution, we can work that out. We can try to get something a little bit more clean and organized, but for right now, I'm fine with that. I can live with that, and I hope you guys can live with that too. I can get rid of this little cement block here, because I won't really need that either. The wires are a problem. I definitely need to come through in the meantime and one of the backgrounds of my videos and fix a lot of this wiring, because it's not the best anymore. It's definitely a little bit chaotic. I get rid of this resource sink because I'm done moving stuff around. So this can go, and then I still have to figure out the hypertube stuff, but I can worry about that later. For right now, I'm going to run up here and I'm going to try to get manufacturer set up so we can get to the end of this video and I can get you guys on to the next stuff. So I'm going to head up there and start trying to get all this organized, and I will be back in a little bit. And I forgot that I needed steel pipes, so I'm gonna have to go over there and see if I can get the overload, because technically it's only consuming, I believe, 80 to 90, so I think the overflow should be enough to actually supply this 30 per minute, but that means I'm gonna have to run another set of lines to get everything back up to the resource truck, which is gonna be a lot. So I'm gonna head over there and I'm gonna check the numbers again and see if I can make all that work without having to rearrange the entire steel production that I already have. I knew there was a reason that I wanted to switch over to the steel pipe recipe, but when I did it in my head, I got all confused, and it's really late for me at this point in the recording. So I'm gonna go over there and see if I can try to fix this problem so we can figure out how to get the steel pipes over here, and then all I have to do is the module frames and the screws, which is really just gonna be a matter of trying to finagle everything through our hallways and stuff in the background, the stuff that the closet rooms where everything's a mess and I don't have to focus on it. I gotta figure out how to get those through there, which shouldn't even be all that difficult. We're pretty close. I just have to figure out the steel pipe issue. Okay, so in my head this is gonna work out because this line is 90 and then the leftover is 30, so in my mind this should work, but I also have a feeling like it won't work and I have to come back and I'll have to do an actual load split. I'm gonna try this for right now, and even if it doesn't work out, I feel like I'm out of a buffer, so I'm not gonna realize it's not working for a very long time. But in theory this works, so I'm gonna leave it how it is, and if it's a problem down the line then I can fix it. It's not really that big of a deal. I'm just getting really late here and I'm ready to get this project done, so I'm gonna cut the corner and I'll make it like this, and I feel like it should work out. Basically this is still a smart splitter. This is designed as the left output and the overflow, as opposed to doing the full like split down. Why am I even doing it like this? This is wrong. I'm not doing it like this. I'm gonna fix this. I got another idea. Okay, so basically what I did was these are producing 20 a minute. So I put a splitter like right in the end of it. So this is now making 20, which is 10 and 10. You have your extra 10, so you have 80, 90 going this way, and then you have your 20 plus 10, which is a 30 line. Now this is going to be constantly producing, and this is perfect. So I'm going to still put my overflow crate back in here. It'll be just this little industrial storage thing, make it nice and simple. And then the only thing I really have to worry about is overflow still set up right. There's an overflow line that needs to be set up for this, but this is going to be organized all the way over there anyway, so I'm not really worried about it, because the overflow technically will be... Ooh. Dude, I'm discovering problems left and right, because there's 4 outputs now instead of 3, which means I have to do a whole nother set of splitters over there to make this work properly, because now it's just going to read this as the overflow and try to dump all of it, which means I'm going to need 3 separate split lines to make all this organized and work. Oh man, this is so complicated. I've never done anything like this, and this has turned into like a way bigger deal than I've ever expected. So I'm going to keep trying to make this work again. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever heard the term over-engineered, but this is completely over-engineered at this point. So pretty much I decided that the overflow can be anything. So this technically could be any undefined. I'm gonna do overflow. I don't know if it makes a difference. But either way, so this reads it as overflow because it's not going to either one of these, and it's pushing it into here. So we have a steel pipe going center. Once this line will back up, it'll push the overflow out into there. So we have something like you know, like a stator or one of these encased steel beams. When it comes in here, it's going to be, oh, okay, hey, this is full, and move over here and then move into here, as opposed to having 3 entire separate splitter lines. It's only one. So it's a smart splitter on a smart splitter, which is the stupidest thing that I've ever said in my life, but it makes sense and it works, so we're going to deal with it. I just have to figure out how to get this back up there. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, okay? It's a little bit funky, but you know what? It's working, and it's getting it where it needs to be, and I can live with that. All right? Okay, so this is all hooked up. The rotors were already set up already. The modular frames was ran across. I'll show that in a second. And then this is using this screw room. I had the one that wasn't being used in the center of everything. I need to cover all this stuff up. We really need to do a cleanup episode. But I did have this one right here that was doing nothing. So basically I switched the lines from what was being used at the top over there to these. Now these two are actually powering our rotors down here, which is a lot more efficient than what we've been doing. As opposed to like not using this at all. And this one was using one, and then the other one is going all the way over there, crossing our entire factory. Now we have these two over here, and this set of screws going right out to our manufacturer. Our modular frames right here is basically just coming right across and going in. But our new problem I'm having is this is only producing 2 per minute, and I'm pretty sure that I need 10 per minute to produce on one of these, so I had to go down there and double check that, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to wind up being short on the modular frames. It means I'm going to have to jump this production up. We do have the reinforced iron plates, but I had to check out where I'm at with the actual iron rod production and everything, because a lot of it's being used for screws. I know that I'm pretty sure that I'm only using 60 right now, so it's technically like 40, I don't know, 48. I'm using 36 of this, which means I can jump it up 2 more, which will give me 260, which actually will work out pretty good. So I may have to basically add 2 more of these assemblers. If I have to do that, I'll kind of do that in the background. I just want to get down there and get this stuff set up, make sure things are going to work out before I start messing with everything. So we can kind of see it didn't go anywhere. Yeah, the modular frames are going to take forever to get down there, but this is the modular frames. This is the screws. Once you get all these lines set up, it should be looking really, really good. Okay, and with our last little bit hooked up, we have all of our resources here, and all we have to do is hit the power. I'll start. What do I have? Stators. Yo, oh no. Alright, so now that we fixed that whole fiasco and got our steel pipes and our stators on the right line, this is running into here, and this is actually running now. So we officially are automating these heavy modular frames, but our modular frames are requiring 10, which means we have to basically go up there and add 2 more assemblers to that to get it at the actual number that we need. But at that point, we're already consuming basically the exact number of steel pipes, our exact number of industrial beams. Screws we have a little bit of overage on. You can see this is filling up very quickly, which isn't going to be a problem, but our modular frames are going to be a problem, so we're going to have to make those. And even once we put 2 more up there, we're still going to be only at 10 per minute, which means we need to build another iron factory fairly quickly. Hopefully once we get this set up, we can work on getting our computer set up, and then we can get more power so we can actually start running stuff. I talked at the beginning of the episode about shutting down the power grid just with having our oil plant running, and this is already getting up there again. So our max consumption is almost 2,000. If we hook our oil production plant up, we're easily going to jump up into 3,000s with everything on our max consumption, which is not good. So we either need to build another coal plant, which will involve overclocking that stuff down there and adding more stuff into it, or we need to move into getting our fuel generator set up, which is preferably the step that I would like to take, as opposed to continuing to make coal plants, because it's just cutting into our overall steel production. So there's a lot more projects to be done, and we got a lot of stuff done in this episode. This has been a huge amount of work. It took me about like 3 to 4 hours of recording to get everything done. I hope you guys liked the video. Comment down below. Subscribe if you guys want to follow this series. You guys have an excellent night.